is Larry Miller with RCTCM White Tiger Interviews, and today I'm interviewing a local business owner, Taja Ambroise, on her photography business.
Hello.
All right, my first question for this questionnaire is, how did you become a photographer?
So I started off actually as a mom blogger, and I used to work for American Airlines, so I used to be able to travel for free with my children. And I would pretty much just document us traveling and all the trips that we took and all the fun activities I did with them. And during COVID, our job temporarily laid us off. So during that time, one of my coworkers started a clothing business, and they had reached out to me and said, "Hey, I love your blogging photos. Would you mind taking business pictures for my website?" I was like, sure. They booked a studio for me, and I had never shot in studio before. I had no idea how to take studio portraits. But when I got there, it was a little bit too late. We were already there. So the young lady whose studio we rented, she was very kind. She helped me with my camera, pretty much like gave me a short tutorial of how to use the studio lights. And then I was just immediately in love, intrigued. It was completely different from taking outside photos. When we ended up sharing the photos online and they tagged me and said I had taken the pictures for their business, everyone just started reaching out to me. Keep in mind, during this time, it was COVID, everybody was online, so social media was really starting to grow, and everyone was pretty much just trying to document their lives through pictures. So I just came in at a really good time.
Well, as a photographer now, what is your thought process behind your photo shoot sets?
Right now, my clients pretty much reach out to me with ideas that they have, but I also have a Pinterest page where I have different folders of things that I would like to try and do. So if they come to me and they don't really know what they want to do, I send them to my Pinterest page, let them look through a ton of ideas that I have saved, or they can pretty much send me like their outfit or the vibe that they want to go for, and then I will put together ideas along with theirs and create a whole theme based around that.
All right, well, in your opinion as a photographer now, what separates a good photographer from a mediocre one?
I think the difference between a good photographer and a beginner photographer would just be experience. As you learn photography and you have more experience doing it, you understand the basics of taking a good photo. You understand everything that it takes to create a good photo. You're able to give better quality. You have more knowledge behind it. Most photographers, when you're first starting out, you just want it to look good, not really understanding what it takes to produce a quality photo. So I would just say experience.
As a film student and a beginner in film, what would you give as a recommendation for me to do in order to grow my own business?
Try to get mentorships, just learning as much as you can. Get advice from people that do what you already do, that have been doing it longer, and just practice. A lot of this is just hands-on learning. Like, someone can tell you all the things that go into it, but until you're actually doing it, it's not going to register and it's not going to really make sense. Once you're actually in those situations and you're recording or you're taking photos, you are learning the do's and the don'ts, basically. You're getting the experience. This is just one of those things that it has to be taught hands-on.
So, as a photographer, would you recommend going through college or starting up your own business as a way to learn photography?
I do feel like knowledge is power. So I am self-taught. I do feel like there are things that I could have learned in school that would have gotten me to where I am quicker. I'm learning a lot through experience versus actually having the knowledge behind it, if that makes sense. I think it would be wonderful to go to school for it. You get taught things that may take you years to learn on your own because you're learning from people that have the experience already, versus trying to teach yourself from scratch.
Well, personally from you, what do you think is the hardest part of being a photographer?
The hardest part is the business side of it. I do it as a full-time entrepreneur versus people that do it just for the art and the creative part of it. Running the business is hard. When you're doing photography or you're doing any type of art form as a business, you are having to be creative on demand versus just being inspired and creating it. So I get burnt out a lot. I have to be intentional about taking breaks and giving myself to find inspiration again in it. But just basically being able to deliver things that aren't creative or just coming from a creative place in me, but trying to be creative for someone else and help bring their vision to life versus mine.
Well, what do you think your biggest inspiration is in photography?
This is gonna sound so funny, but the money. I have been working for a really, really long time, and I am just so intrigued at the fact that I get paid to do something that I love and would probably have done for free. Of course, the money, like what? Anything that would get someone to go to a job every day, like just the fact that I am really making a living off of something that I enjoy doing. Like, it's crazy. I would say outside of the money, I do love the feeling that people get when I take their picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that people get to see themselves through my lens instead of how they just see themselves. So I always get really good reactions. People cannot believe that that's them in the picture. Like they get to see themselves from a different perspective.
Well, thank you for your time here today. My name is Larry Miller with RCTCM Interviews, signing out.